This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Wahid Invest, revolutionizing halal investments. Assalamu alaikum, guys. Welcome to a brand new episode of Freshly Grounded. This episode is brought to you by and sponsored by Wahid Invest. Who are Wahid Invest? Wow, I heard about Wahid when I was working, doing some work for Iman Channel, and I saw them and it really opened my eyes up. And what opened my eyes up when I looked into them was more so their story. Tuhin, I don't know if you've heard about this story, but basically the founder was based in New York, and he was like working really high up in finance, right? And he was in a cab one day, and the cab driver was a Muslim cab driver, and as you can imagine, like, you always get into conversation with the cab drivers, and the driver basically said that he didn't really know where to invest his money. He had some savings and he didn't know where to invest it, and this kind of got the founder into, he started thinking about an idea where essentially you could make halal investments. The cab driver was a Muslim, and that basically triggered him to start Wahid Invest, and now they're working all over the world. They've got, well, when I say all over the world, in multiple countries across the world. And essentially what it is you don't have to sacrifice your beliefs, and you can just invest your savings, and you can literally invest as little as £100. So anyone can pretty much do it. If you've got savings of at least £100, you can invest. Wahid has helped clients all over the states put their money into work in halal portfolios, and your savings do not need to sit in a bank account doing nothing. You can sign up in minutes, get your account approved instantly, and start with as little as £100. It's halal investing the way it should be. Ooh. Yeah. Oh, indeed. So guys, if you want to go check out halal investments, if you guys want to go check out Wahid, head over to freshlygrounded.com/Wahid. That's freshlygrounded.com/WAHED. Please do go to Wahid via that link, so that they can kind of track the conversions that are coming from Freshly Grounded. That helps us, and in turn helps us to kind of keep the podcast going, and helps us to kind of just build, basically. To freshlygrounded.com/Wahid. That's freshlygrounded.com/WAHED. Remember, you guys can sign up for as little as £100. They've got all of the information there, so you guys are probably thinking, how is it halal? You know, where does the money go? What if I want to do low risk? What if I want to do high risk? You got all of those options on the website. Definitely check it out, up about it. If you go to the link that I just mentioned, they've got some tabs and stuff that kind of talk about where the money goes, so definitely read up about it on there. When you do want to sign up though, if you kind of go off of the page, I would say still, when you want to actually sign up, go back to URL freshlygrounded.com/Wahid, because that's the URL which will be tracked. So even if you go to that URL first and then you like go off onto some other page where you're finding out like more details about the company, don't just then click on sign up. Go to that exact link, and it will help us, like I said, help us carry on putting out episodes. So that really will mean a lot to all of us. Check it out, freshlygrounded.com/Wahid. Guys, this episode of the podcast is with Ali Dawah and Mohammed Hijab, and it is something that has been like highly requested. And the way I wanted this episode to go is I wanted to ask them questions based on, I basically mentioned to them that, look, they seem to be like Marmite. Am I right, Tuhin?
Yep.
In that some people love and support what they do, and other people kind of have this opinion that, like, why are you guys getting involved in things that don't concern you? And I think it's fair to say that they are the two opinions. Would you agree?
Yep.
And so in this episode, I wanted to, yes, ask them what they're doing and you know, the projects that they're working on. But I also wanted to kind of ask them some hard-hitting questions that, look, what do you guys say to those people who say, maybe you guys shouldn't be doing this, or maybe you guys are just getting yourself in drama for no reason, or maybe you guys should stick to things that you guys have done in the past that isn't stepping out of essentially, quote unquote, your lane. Ali Dawah spoke in this episode about stuff about kind of staying in your lane, and I said, you were doing this thing before called halal dining, which was really interesting, and I think it was like one of the best things that he's done. And I said, what do you say to people who say you should stick to that more than going on debates and stuff? And so I hope I've done you guys justice, because when I put out these episodes, I don't like to just kind of put out an episode where I like to kind of ask the questions that I imagine you guys would want to ask. So that's why it was interesting to me. Also, you guys might have heard me speaking to Tuhin a bit in this intro. We have Tuhin back. For those of you guys who don't remember, Tuhin was a guest producer on Freshly Grounded about how long ago now?
I think it was like episode 38 or something.
Really?
So, time ago. 38 or 48, one of those.
So that was, at least 6-7 months ago?
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah, and Tuhin came. We basically, I think at that time, Red was our regular producer, and Red was in Bangladesh doing some charity work. And so Tuhin, I put out on our Instagram, we're looking for a guest producer. Tuhin was like, yo, I'm up for this. And it turned out there was a lot more to Tuhin than meets the eye. And so when it came to us needing another producer for this episode, I literally rang Tuhin straight away. I was like, Tuhin, listen, I need a producer for this episode. Are you down? And Tuhin's reply was,
yeah.
He was like, I'm down, man. Inshallah. He said, I'm down. And you had university today, didn't you, at 1 o'clock?
Yeah, but I emailed my lecturer and I was honest.
And what happened specifically?
I guess the moral is honesty is the best policy, because he was like, that sounds cool.
And then he
see you at 3 o'clock. You can join after the break.
And he also...
Oh, and he also listened to an episode.
He listened to an episode of
Freshly Grounded. I'm not sure which episode exactly. I'm going to have to ask him that.
Yeah.
But given he's Greek and he's an atheist himself, it'd be interesting to see.
Really? How do you know he's an atheist?
Oh, so when it comes to university, when we propose film ideas and stuff, my influences are very much based around being a Muslim,
right?
So on and so forth. There was one idea I had in particular. So we had to adapt Little Red Riding Hood, and I adapted it for Palestine, and I made the IDF the big bad wolf.
No way.
And yeah, he was just like, oh, how did you come up with the idea? I was like, oh, I'm Muslim. He's like, oh, as someone secular, it's interesting to see an idea like this, because from a humanitarian point of view, he agreed with the fundamental message I was trying to...
Well, he sounds like he's not only an atheist, but someone who is actually interested in he's interested in it. He's not just saying, I don't believe in God, but it sounds almost like he's the type of person who says, I don't believe in God, and I'm interested to know why people do. And those kinds of people are the types of people who have an open mind and want to hear intellectual discussions on these different topics.
Mm-hmm. For sure, 100%. I think a case with a lot of atheists is they don't realize they're actually agnostic,
right?
Not atheist,
right?
Because they say they're atheist, but they haven't actually questioned fully, to the best of their ability, whether there is a God or not.
He could be listening to this episode right now and saying, right, to him speaking about me, yeah, that's it.
Hi, Mr.
I don't know if you want to say his name.
Oh yeah, you can censor that out, yeah.
We'll censor that out. We have to censor out a few names today.
Actually, yeah, we do.
In the podcast, yeah.
A bit. We
mentioned some names that we were told that we had to censor out. Yes, and also the other thing that we learned about you, Tuhin, and the reason I say there was a lot more to you than meets the eye when we had the last episode, is because we found out that Tuhin is not only a film student at university, but he jumps off of buildings. And
a jump off? I don't think that's an accurate
yeah, and you jump onto other buildings.
Yeah, okay, I do that, but not.
So you do free running.
So I do. Okay, so I have a background in it, a very basic one. That being said, but my specialty is climbing buildings and cranes, like physically.
Oh right, yeah,
climbing them.
And me and Sam and I had advised you very highly to stop doing that, please, for us. And have you stopped?
I mean, because I'm busy, I do it less regularly.
That's good.
Did I have the intention to stop?
I think you need to listen to me and Sam as your big brothers and just say, you know what? I think they're right. We just don't want you to die to him.
I appreciate the advice, and yeah, inshallah, it's something I'll take into consideration.
I think if your lecturer is listening to us now, he'll also agree with us.
Probably.
Yeah.
I would hope so. If not, then I would question him as a person.
Yeah.
Just like, keep doing it to him.
Please do stop climbing tall cranes without any harnesses. It's not something that we recommend, and it's definitely something we want you to stop. Brothers and sisters, guys, girls, this is episode 75 of Freshly Grounded. Do check it out. And yeah, it's with Ali, Dawah and Mohammed Hijab. They've got a lot to discuss, and it's a very, very interesting one. Enjoy.
And welcome to Freshly Grounded, the brand new podcast by best friends Faisal and Sam.
Huh?
I said welcome to Freshly Grounded,
No, after that bit.
the brand new podcast
And after that bit?
by best friends Faisal and Sam.
Really?
We finally, for the first time ever, have Ali, Dawah in the building.
Finally, I've been trying to come here. It's been like an objective for me. Like every time I wake up, I'm like, Faisal tells me to come in the morning. But I don't like waking up in the morning, so I couldn't come. But today's a different day. Today's a new beginning. Today is a new Ali.
Can I just say that what I said off mic, in that when I first thought of the idea of like Freshly Grounded or starting a podcast,
I think because I was encouraging.
No,
Faisal,
Ali was the first person I told, and this was about 3 years ago. I remember where I was and everything. I was outside this masjid.
Okay, you don't
and
have
I
to be specific.
and I rang Ali and I said, "Bro, this is my idea." Boo, boo, boo. And this was back in the day when like we was like this is when like around times we was doing the halal dining tours and stuff,
which is continuing, inshallah. Soon, coming
I
back.
explained that whole thing to you, and your reply was, "Bro, I don't think that will work."
Can you imagine someone
And
pouring?
now, like 3 years later, here he is as a guest on the podcast.
Can you imagine someone pouring their heart out to you, like, I believe in this. I'm like,
But that's what I was doing. I was pouring my heart out.
No, but I have to be real with you. Get me? We want to give you false hopes.
But you did.
But I realized. Alhamdulillah, it's doing good.
I'm not holding anything.
Yeah.
against
So
you.
since I'm married out and I saw you improving your subscriber going, but then I said, now it's the time for me to come. To before that I sent hijab and I said, brother, go and test the ground. My little brother here. One of my
Hijab tested the grounds and he smashed our ratings.
Nah.
Okay, before we get into any deep discussions, what I wanted to talk about first and foremost is, me and Mohammed are here drinking some nicely grounded coffee from our freshly grounded coffee mugs. And that brings me on to the conversation of Ali Dawah, your coffee video on YouTube. What on earth was that about? Can you explain that to me?
So basically, sometimes life throws things at you and you have to take it with a little mocha. So what happened is basically, I do Uber a couple of days a week, inshallah, to earn a living, hard, halal. But anyways, so basically I was tired one day. So usually I started drinking these macchiatos. Yeah. I don't even know what they were. I don't even know what it was. Usually I would go and say, can I have a double espresso with milk? And they'll be like, that's macchiato. I'll be like, okay, whatever you call it. Yeah. There's a specific name for it. So I thought, macchiatos are really strong and they're bitter. So usually sometimes I have dark chocolate and then I have that because it's really, really bitter. Yeah. So I thought, let me try something new. So I went on Google and I said, okay, what's stronger, latte or mocha? I said, what's the stronger coffee type? So I realized it said mocha. I said, okay, all right. Okay, calm. So I stopped at the petrol station, took a little nap, woke up from the car, and then I went, so I'm half asleep probably, and maybe that might be an excuse. So there's 3 brand new machines, the Costa machines. So I went there and I thought, okay, let me get mocha. So I went to the machine and I pressed mocha and it was pouring. So I thought, okay, good. I'm waiting. And then on the screen, it tells you, okay, pouring the hot water, pouring the milk. And then it says pouring hot chocolate. And I was like, oh man, because I can't be bothered. I'm like I said, I didn't want hot chocolate. I want coffee, yeah. So after it finished, I'm looking at, I thought, okay, it's the machine made a mistake. It happens. Sometimes it happens. Yeah, I think it happens. So what I did is I put it to the side, yeah. I said, the machine made a mistake. So I went to the other machine. So I pressed mocha. So I'm waiting again, and then it goes pouring hot water, hot milk, and then it goes hot chocolate. So I'm thinking what's going on, yeah? So then after it finished, I go to the guy, I go, your machines are broken. I said, I went to the first one, it's giving me hot chocolate. And then he starts switching on me. He's like, no. He's like, our machines are brand new, yeah? So I got agitated, yeah? I'm like, okay, are you telling me I'm lying? Am I lying to you? I'm saying it says hot chocolate. He's like, no, the machines are right, yeah? And I was like, they're not right. I said, the first coffee's there. And now he starts switching. He goes, what? You've poured the coffee and you're leaving it. You're not taking it. I said, yeah, I don't want hot chocolate. And I'm pouring another one. So I go to him, look, I'll prove it to you. So I go to the 3rd machine and I go, look, come on, look at it for yourself, yeah? So he starts switching at me. I ignore him. 2 guys were working the subway. I'm like, look, come and see for yourself, yeah? So they come and I go, look, mocha, boom.
I can't believe in all of this, nobody knew what mocha was. The guy who owned the guy at the petrol station, the guy at Subway, no one was like, yeah, Ali, that's a mocha.
Sadly, they were as stupid as me, yeah? So I put in the 3rd machine and the same thing, I go, look, it says hot chocolate. I was like, look. And so they're looking and they're like, okay, this guy's right, yeah? They don't know we're all bloody stupid. And then afterwards, so I had a little discussion with him and I said to him, look, I'm paying. I ignored all these 3 drinks that I had. I think 2 drinks or 3 of them. I went and got latte. I said, bun mocha, yeah, forget this. I just got my latte. I said, I'm paying for the latte. I paid for it. He was having it. I said, look, I'm not going to pay for something that I didn't want, yeah? So anyways, back and forth, I took my latte, I went, so like about a week later, somehow, I don't know what happened. I don't know if I was searching, I don't know what happened. But I came across and I found out that mocha, it has hot chocolate inside it.
Half hot chocolate, half coffee.
Yes,
yeah.
I didn't know that, yeah? So I felt like an absolute moron. Like I felt so ashamed. Like I felt disgusted. I think I started vomiting because and it made me realize something. At that moment, time, I thought to myself, wow, look at the fact of my ignorance and how it made me have a go at the innocent, well, if he was educated, I wouldn't have a go at him, but if he knew what mocha was made out, I'm having a go at him. I'm questioning the machines. All of this because of my ignorance, yeah? So I went back, I apologized, I done a video, I paid for the 2 mochas that I didn't have. And it taught me a lesson. And this is one of the things that we do at Salam as well, how it connects is that, you know, we want to deconstruct false narratives and reconstruct purer minds. Reason being is because we're ignorant. So sometimes people say, you know, if God exists or why is God doing this or etc. Because of your ignorance, you don't know the hikmah, the wisdom of Allah, you start questioning him and you start blaming him and you start blaming everything around you. That's exactly how I felt like at that moment when I ordered mocha, because I was ignorant of how mocha is made, and that ignorance caused me to have a go at innocent people and doubt the machine, where the problem was with who? With myself.
When I was watching that video, like because you tell the lesson that you learned right at the end, and so for like most of the video, I'm watching it and I'm like, why is Ali like making a video about like this issue that he had with the coffee machine? I was so confused.
Some people,
but it made it
some people would leave in comments like, oh, look at him, you know, because he's a YouTuber, he thinks he can just do videos about, oh, I had a coffee.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were like, this idiot is making videos saying I had a mocha today. He goes, who do you think he is?
Oh, really? So let's talk about Salam now that you've brought it up. So what is Salam Institute? Mohammed, like who's involved and kind of why did you guys start it? And I suppose what does it entail?
I think Ali covered quite a lot of ground there. Funny enough,
with the mocha.
with the story. Salam is a new initiative. It's referred to as Salam Initiative, but Salam is a new initiative. It's as you also mentioned, it's like trying to deconstruct false narratives. So you could say really what it is narrative control. And what we need as Muslims is someone to hold the narrative or to allow a narrative whereby Muslims and Islams are being represented properly. So that means people that have misconceptions about Islam due to ignorance, and a lot of the time it is due to a lack of education, or due to, like, for example, preferring one worldview over another or imposing one worldview on Muslims, these kinds of things, that we can deal with that. So in a nutshell, what it is empowering young Muslims or Muslims generally in the West particularly, but internationally as well, with the knowledge and know-how of how to deal with the, the attacks that are held against them, and to be able to, given them that ammunition to be able to deal with
and confidence.
Yeah, like how to rationalize Islam, how to give an intellectual case for Islam. Galileo said, interestingly, Galileo made it really interesting. He said something quite interesting. He said he believed in God, yeah, and he goes, it's not conceivable that a God who's endowed us with rationality and intellect would want us to forego their use, right? And so the point being is that as Muslims, we do believe that there is a harmony between rationalism, intellectualism, and spiritualism. We do believe that there is a harmony between what the divine has sent down and what can be reasoned in an intellectual sense. And it's that theme that we're trying to promote, I think, from our perspective. I think there always needs to be a people that does that in any given society. So we'll talk to people that, for example, from Christian backgrounds, we'll talk to people from Jewish backgrounds, from atheist backgrounds, etc., trying to come, as the Quran says, to come in terms with them. But we also empower people from our own with these skills, inshallah, as well.
Well, what you often find is that people who are kind of, I suppose, in the da'wah, what I've seen in my experience is they tend to either focus on giving nasiha to Muslims or giving da'wah to non-Muslims. So from what you're saying there, it sounds like you're kind of trying to do a bit of both, and you're, I suppose, in one way, trying to call people to Islam who are non-Muslim, but then also trying to equip the Muslims of today and the Muslims of tomorrow with enough knowledge to be able to defend their own beliefs. Is that correct?
Yeah. So we could say we're at the door of Islam in a metaphoric sense, if you like. Yeah. The door of Islam has people coming into it and people leaving it. Okay. So we are at the door in the sense that people that are not yet Muslims need to hear the intellectual and the rational case, and people who are on their way out of being Muslims need to hear the same thing. So we deal with people on the periphery, if you like. We don't deal with people in the core places. So if someone has a very firm view against Islam, usually it's very difficult to convince them otherwise. And the opposite is also true. Someone who's a very strong practicing Muslim, they might not need the rationalism and the intellectualism in these cases, because they're fully convinced anyways. But we're at the door of Islam.
Do you think it would make sense to focus on one rather than focus on both?
I think that, if I call this the Zakir Naik effect, yeah? People like Zakir Naik and Ahmed Didat and others like them too, their da'wah, their preaching it gets a lot of attention from both people necessarily.
Okay, yeah.
Because someone like Zakir Naik, he does debates, or someone like Ahmed Didat, he did debates and he conversed with the Christians and dialogued with them, etc. But a lot of Muslims benefited from him. I even remember listening to something Sheikh Al-Albani said about Ahmed Didat, and I was quite interested because obviously he's very, when it comes to theology and creed, he needs someone to be of a very specific creed in order to endorse them. But Sheikh Al-Albani had some good things to say about Ahmed Didat, and he was saying that he did what he did, i.e. Ahmed Didat, he something like to the effect of he did what all the scholars of Islam didn't do. In other words, confront this outside threat, which is Christianity, and deal with it in a very effective way. And so really and truly, I mean, at Salam, we know exactly what we can do and what we can't do, what we have an advantage of doing or what we don't have an advantage in doing. We're not trying to be fuqaha or usuliyun in the deepest sense. We are just trying to use the fiqh and the usul and these things in order to promote this message of Islam in the best way possible.
What do you guys say to people who would say like, what you guys are doing is counterproductive, or perhaps it's not the best way you guys can spend your time? Like, for example, you guys are going to a rally and then you end up getting in physical altercations. From the outside perspective, one could be like, wow, these guys, and I've seen people who have shown you guys so much love and support and said, look, these guys really are like standing firm and they're doing a lot. But then I've also seen the other side of it where people have said, look, these guys are literally wasting their time, or they're trying to speak to people who don't want to hear it, essentially, and you're just causing drama upon yourselves. What do you say to that?
To be honest, in my culture, they say the one who doesn't know how to do something will criticize it, and the one who knows how to do it will do it. Yeah. So now there has to be a balance through that as well. So I don't want it to seem like the people who are advising us, we don't take their advice on board. I'm talking about those who just see everything as negative. Like, whatever you do, why do you have to do this? And most of the time, these people, they just criticize. Like Ibn Taymiyyah says in his Majma' Fatawa, where he says that some people are like flies. They never see the good in people. They always land in bad places. So what that means is within their innate nature is whatever you do, they're going to see the bad. Yeah. So there's those kind of people which I'm talking to where they just always assume the worst. Then there's those who are genuinely want to understand, why did you do that? What benefit that came out of it? Now, what we see is this year is that when we went to that specific march, whatever happened, I was invited. If we went there without me being invited, we're asking for trouble, we put our hands up and we'll apologize. Yeah. Because you know where you're going. Yeah. Of course you're going to, this might happen. But because we was invited by the management and we was told our security would be taken care of, we went because of that. I was invited, my name was on the list. Otherwise, I would never go there. So that's because that was there. I wanted to use that freedom of speech that they so like to talk about and say, would you allow a Muslim to come there on stage and allow me to talk, because you talk about freedom of speech for everybody and anyone. So that's one of the reasons we went there, to do that. You know, and a lot of the times, you know, like what we do, the whole point behind me or us, we're confronting all kinds of extremists or the far right. Yeah, I've confronted Tommy Robinson, I've confronted Britain First, I've confronted Lawrence Southern, I've confronted this other Yemeni guy, like together. All these Majid Nawaz, all these people. Why do we do it? Because these people, and also Anjem Chowdhury's followers as well. Yeah, okay, they all fit in the same category. I believe these people are they're business partners. They work with each other. It's like maybe the example is bad. Yeah, somebody who goes and smashes windows. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe let's say he makes a living out of it. He makes a benefit out of it, and the one who replaces the window makes a benefit. They work together. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So these people, they live off each other, because when extremists from the Islamic side, when they see the far right doing something, they're like, look, they're attacking our brothers and sisters. We need to do da 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 da. So they go and kill innocent non-Muslims on the streets. When that happens, what happens is they give birth to the far right. Tommy Robinson gets born. People like him gets born. And they're like, look, what's going on? These Islamist extremists, they're coming to our country, da, da, da. And then the far right increase. So now in Europe, the far right is increasing. So they both benefit off each other. They're like business partners. I genuinely believe when a certain attack happens from, let's say, an extremist Muslim, the far right love it. I genuinely believe these people actually get happy. They're like, this is what we need. This is what we need in order to wake up our people. And when the far right do something, the Islamic ISIS extremists do the same. They're like, this is exactly what we need to do an uprising. So they're like business partners. What we do is we go and confront these people and say, look, let's have an intellectual discussion. We don't want violence. We don't want innocent people dying, because you are preaching hate, be you Anjem Chowdhury, be you the far right, and your foot soldiers are taking the matters in their own hands and killing innocent people, running people over in Finsbury Park, running people in London Bridge. So we don't want innocent people to die. Why should I see somebody's child dying because of what you're preaching? So that's dear to me. That means a lot to me. And not only that, your sister, Faisal, your sister, your mother, your brother, all of us, they're going to be a victim to this. Believe me, wallahi, they're going to be a victim to this. If you look at Nazi Germany, the Nuremberg laws, it was a gradual process. Don't think Hitler came to the power and said, we're going to terminate all the Jews. No, it was a gradual process. And if you look in history, the newspapers, wallahi, it's the exact same thing with what's going on with the Muslims today. If we don't take a stand to this, brother, it's going to be too late. And that's one thing that I have to advise our Muslim brothers and sisters, because we're sleeping. We're literally sleeping. We're so indulged with this life that, like it's just like, you know, making, and this, all of us need to provide. I'm not talking about that. You know, making money and to get this holiday, this car. Brother, you're doing that, but your iman, everything's going. And it's going to come at the cost where this Islamophobia, when it comes to your door, when your sister's attacked, thrown acid in her face, that's when you're going to say, okay, we need to do something. What we're saying is, brother, we're already doing it, yeah? If you've got nothing good to say, may Allah bless you. Make dua for us. If you believe our intentions are wrong, if we're doing it for the wrong reasons, Aki, make dua for us. We fight with the intentions on a daily basis. So just either, like the Prophet ﷺ said, either say something good or be silent. Allow us to do our works.
Do you guys feel like because you do so much outwardly and you're on a public platform, and both of you guys have Ali kind of gradually, and Mohammed probably kind of a sharper and a faster speed more recently, you guys have kind of grown a large following. Do you think that because you're speaking on such a public platform outwardly, that you have to work a lot more, you have to increase yourselves inwardly as well? I've seen, like, for example, in yourself and stuff, that you're doing a lot more perhaps private or things that people don't know about in order to increase your knowledge, because you are so you're seen so much outwardly doing stuff for the deen. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So, but personally, for myself, that's what been one of my biggest struggles, in a way. Like, for example, even learning the Arabic language, I have to be real. You know, it's I find it really, really hard. You know, and there's been times where I've actually been mocked for it. I'll be honest with you. I've been mocked from you know, people who've been close to me, you know, where, you know, oh, okay, you don't know how to read the Quran or this, that. It's been a struggle for me. I'm going to be real with you. It's been a struggle.
It's not me.
Yeah, and it can't be. Yeah.
it's just in case someone's been watching this and thinking.
No. Actually, it's the contrary. But it's just these things where it just shows you, like, it's made me feel like what I needed. Like, for example, where I am now, like the encouragement that I get from the brothers around me, it's like I'm not mocked. I'm not like, oh, you know, they can easily come and say to me, brother, you're doing dawah, and for example, you're not that fluent in reading the Quran, yeah? But they don't. They encourage me. They're like, okay, you know what? Look, okay, take a pinch of salt with some criticism that comes to you, and that motivates me. That helps me. So, for example, I memorize certain things, and when I do, you know, the fact that I see a smile in their face, the fact that they say, okay, you know what, Ali, alhamdulillah, he's improved in that. That encourages me. That keeps me motivated. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So that's one thing that I've realized for myself. My self-owned development is very key for me, because I can become a candle where I'm giving light to everybody, but I'm burning myself. And I came to that realization where I'm like, okay, Ali, you're benefiting a lot of people, but what are you doing for yourself? What are you doing for your family? Because Allah says in the Quran, save yourself and your families from the fire first. So if I'm doing the opposite, where I'm trying to help everybody else, but my house is on fire, what benefit is that? So I came to that realization, alhamdulillah, with the help of my teachers and, like brother like Mohammed Hijab, be it brother Sufyan in the background, where like, be it my tajweed, be it my Quran, be it my Arabic, be it my general studies, they helping me. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And that's key, because I've realized that I have to, have knowledge to give knowledge, So yeah, alhamdulillah, it's going well. There's improvements happening. I got my coach next to me. He teaches me the sparring.
You guys seem very different in personalities in many ways. Do you guys like get yourselves? Do you ever debate with each other like behind closed doors?
I would say, I don't know. Hijab has been a bit silent, but like with hijab, it's we. I don't think with hijab we've ever had like I've had friends before, like where like you have confrontation, like a proper confrontation. Like alhamdulillah, may Allah protect us. I've never had that with hijab. Like we're like a proper confrontation. Like no, like do you get me? I've never had that.
No, but we, Islamically, you know how you guys debate? Yes. Do you have those debates?
Yes,
with each other?
we have that a lot. So for example, I would come and say to him, bro, maybe you should have not done it like this, or he'll come and say to me, bro, actually you're wrong here, it should be like that. We have that Islamically. For example, we go through like opinions, like, yeah, we do that on a base, and that's one of the part what I like. I do with him, I do with a lot of people, yeah, and it helps my improvement. I do with my teacher sometimes, like, yeah, but Sheikh, what about this? And then he'll say, but Sheikh, but what if I said this? So it improves our relationship. But like I said before, yeah, we do have that. I don't know if there's anything Hijab wants to add on.
I think that there's a difference between having a difference of opinion on certain issues, or I should have done this better than this, and then rendering someone like, okay, this person, I can't be with them no more, or it's a mubtada, or it's whatever. Like,
what does that mean by mubtada? There's people
an innovator, or let's say, for instance, a fasiq or something like that. Which I'm not saying that there are not fusaq. There are people that are fasiqs, and they're not.
What's a fasiq?
A fasiq, sorry, is an evildoer. Yeah. But I think that there's always got to be that level of tolerance. No matter what disagreement you have. And what I find quite upsetting is that we can exercise that level of tolerance when it comes to non-Muslims sometimes. But when it comes to our own, like people from our own faith group, we sometimes we don't do that. So I think it's important to keep that level of tolerance. Okay, you might have a difference of opinion on me in X matter, but it doesn't mean that now we're separate. We're going separate ways. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It will take a lot for me to conclude that about any Muslim.
Yeah.
Do you ever regret any of the stuff that you've put out or any of the stuff that you've said? Yeah, if you're being honest with yourself.
Yeah. The thing is, I mean, I think it's more to do with the actions and reactions. It's a very delicate balance. I think that.
Can you give us a specific example?
Yeah, I'll give you some specific examples. What we're doing is we're put in extreme situations. That's the reality of the situation. I mean, how many du'at do you know in the ummah that have to go somewhere, or that put themselves self-inflicted? I'm not saying that, but have to be surrounded by X amount of people, and it gets physical, right? Usually du'at, they're in this very warm room in front of a nice. No, that's how it is, right? I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. That maybe that's the way it should be, right? Very respectable, very professional saying, but because we put ourselves, or my position, I put myself in many extreme situations, like the EDL march. That's an extreme situation. People don't have to go through that. Or where you have someone in speaker's corner, like, almost becoming violent with you. So it's very difficult. It's a different kind of analysis, right? So you're looking at it. Was I too harsh? Was I too soft? Sometimes in the beginning, in 2017, when I first did my videos. My first video was with an intelligent atheist. I think it's got almost 850,000 views. Yeah.
Why did you have to mention the views? Like,
no, it's my.
By the way,
I'm joking.
I think it's the main video that worked for me. And,
I got 3.5 million on one though.
Yeah.
Nah.
Was that the Lindsay Lohan one?
Huh?
Was that the Lindsay Lohan one?
Yeah. Nah.
Yeah. So that was
one of my subscribers.
The reason why people like that video is because I was very calm with the interlocutor. Yeah. But the thing is, what we started realizing is that because we had that, I was very calm and stuff. I started realizing people started abusing me. I know it sounds a bit, but people started taking the kindness for weakness.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah.
And then so I changed. I had to change my strategy, and I knew it would come with problems. I knew that people would say, "But why are you being a little bit aggressive here? Why are you being a bit abrupt here? Why are you being?" But to me, that was secondary because I didn't want people to think that the Islamic model was one of really give one person, let them slap you on one cheek and then give them the other cheek to slap you on as well.
No, but there is a sense of like having patience through and not rising to certain things. And the reason I say that, Mohammed, is because I think that at the beginning when you did start putting out your videos in 2017, I used to have a lot of people who would speak to me and say, "Oh, have you heard of that Mohammed Hijab brother?" This was, I think, before you started getting really popular online, and you just started putting a few videos out. Have you heard of this Mohammed Hijab brother? He's really good. And I think the thing that always attracted people to you
was
and
the
to your
calmness
debates,
and the patience and
the
all
calmness,
that.
the intelligence that was used, the like in the fact that you wouldn't react and you wouldn't see like anger within you. I'm not saying that that's changed now, but I think that perhaps was the thing that got you there. I think that's the thing that probably is your USP and makes you, and it makes it very attractive. Like, wow, like. And you spoke so respectfully to people. Like, I'm not saying you haven't now. I'm not saying that you changed that. But I'm saying that is what makes me.
There have been situations where that hasn't. I had to show another side of me.
But I think you're conflating two things, bro. Hijab's conflating two things. You are still you. I don't, because the way you made it seem now, like it's like there's a new hijab. Okay. There is not. Nobody's ever come and said, "Oh, hijab's approach." Everybody still says hijab is calm, collective, intelligent. Yeah. But the thing is, what he's trying to say, I think maybe he's trying to say is that. In certain places, you can't be calm, collective in certain situations where you're faced with certain people.
Of course,
so
it's fight or flight, right?
I wouldn't say, because I know if you had a debate with the atheist today, you're still going to be that calm, collective, intelligent guy.
I like to mirror the attitude that someone gives me. Even if that person is the worst person, right? But there comes a time where if the person starts to exhibit like violent tendencies, or you can see that maybe some violence will come from his conduct. Then I think there is a different attitude that
you have to be firm. You have to be firm.
I don't know. I mean, I'm still working on it. That's the reality of the situation. The true Mohammed Hijab is not just the guy that did that video, the intelligent atheist. That's not me. That's partly who I am. Yeah, you could say that is the asl. You could say that's the default position. That's how I am in but really and truly, there are other sides as well, which is
of course, there's other sides to everybody, but I think that perhaps when you're online, there has to be, you have to be so conscious of what you're doing. But I'm not trying to argue your point. I think that I definitely agree that sometimes you're put in situations where you can't always step back from the situation and then think about it and then go back into it. You have to kind of, it's kind of natural. And what about you, Ali? I kind of put the same question to you in the sense that, you put out a lot of videos in your, how many years have you been on YouTube now?
5, I would say 5 years.
About 5 years you've been on YouTube. You put out so many different types of videos. Is there anything that you've ever done or put out that you regret now?
I'm sure you've got a long list. I'm sure you've got a long list. Go on, bring out the book that
Imagine he just gets his book out of his backpack. I was waiting for this question.
You might as well say the opposite. What have I not regretted?
I've just regretted I didn't have time to think of it while you were speaking. There must be some. I can't think of it off my head. But there must be, definitely. I just can't. And I think some that I've done, maybe I've taken it down immediately. Maybe that's why I can't remember. Like,
because you reconsidered it.
Yeah,
there is a lot of stuff he's decided not to put up.
Yeah, there is. So I do, like, for example, with me, I think it's before I release it, I would just be like, okay, should I put? If I don't put it up, so I'll be like, should I? And then I'll be like, no. I'll speak to a couple of people, and they'll be like, don't. Then I wouldn't. So I think maybe with me, maybe he does the mistake. Maybe he's more like, okay, he does it, and then he takes it. I don't know. But with me, it's just more like, okay, should I not? I consult with a couple of people, and then I do. But there is like certain ones. Okay, so like now I wouldn't regret it, but there's certain videos that I do where to people they don't like it. Yeah, but just because you don't like it, just because you perceive something to look haram, doesn't mean it is haram. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So the one I did, for example, with where I approach sisters and then I was showing them the message on the phone, where it said, may Allah grant you Jannah and it was, the weather was mad hot, and there was some things going on where there was famous Insta sisters or something like that, two of them took the hijab off or something like that, So now there was this thing going, so where, and this is one of the things with young people, they have no wisdom, and not that I'm saying I am like I have some wisdom, but with the young people it's just rash. You got to do it like this, and when you come into the religion as well, just because you're doing a few texts, one of the phases of student of knowledge is that he thinks he knows everything. So the thing is, it's like they just come like how could you approach sisters? Ittaqillah, how would you like if someone did that to your sister? Like all this emotional nonsense, yeah? But when you look into the matter, and when we looked into the matter, when we went to a proper person of knowledge, a scholar, and when he gave me a reply to this, it just left my, like, I was shocked. Because when I did this video, there was even one of my teachers was a little bit uncomfortable. He didn't say it was haram. It was like, it was a little bit uncomfortable, yeah? So the purpose behind why we did this is because we're looking at all the issues that's going on. There's two famous YouTubers, not YouTube, Instagrammers, who've took off their hijab. The weather is mad hot. Our sisters are already going through fitna enough, yeah? Right at this moment in time, they need encouragement. Right today, like Hikmah is doing the right thing at the right time. Right now is the time for encouragement, to show them that, look, you know, and I knew the video would go viral because...
And that was one of the things that there was a heated debate in the office about.
Yeah, there was actually,
If a person, so, if one of your teachers, for example, or a student of knowledge or a scholar said to you, after you put all that effort in and you thought it was going to go viral and you thought, honestly, that it was going to benefit, but they said, I disagree with it and you shouldn't put it out, would you listen to them? And
see, this is exactly what happened, I would say, with this one. I don't know if I put it up before that, you know, but with this one, like one of my teachers, Sheikh Mohammed, was like, nah, he's like, this is, he goes, I'm like, I didn't think he said haram, but he said, don't, like, this is very, very uncomfortable. One of my other teachers, he was like,
I think he did think, he thought it was haram.
Oh, did he think it was haram?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. So he said, it's haram, you can't, yeah? But other teacher was a bit like, I don't know.
More hesitant.
Yeah, so what we did is we went to, because in that matter, it's like, okay, who, and then you're looking at the matter because we need to put in the consideration, the time, what's going on, etc. So we went to a person, an alim.
Yeah, you can say.
Yeah, it's an alim. And they spoke in Arabic. Okay? So it wasn't even me. It's not like, you know, sometimes people go and explain the situation in a certain way so the person can say yes, no. They went in Arabic and they explained it. Yeah. And they
said it was Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahy anil Munkar. From that bab, you can, which means that you can, if you're calling to the good and forbidding the evil. This
was very profound. What he said blew me away. Like, okay, I was just like, it just made me realize more the difference between an alim, a proper person of knowledge, and and when I say this, obviously one of my teachers obviously said it was haram. I respect his opinion. I'm talking about those who were blowing it out of proportion, because even Sheikh Mohammed, he didn't blow it out of proportion that level, like where he was like, he wasn't. He was just like, said, for me, I believe you should have not, yeah. But for other people, this shows you the difference. You know, he quoted Surah Asr, yeah. You know, by time mankind is in loss, except those who believe and do righteous deeds and call one another truthful and call one another to patience, yeah. Now I was like, whoa, that even missed my head, because I was like, that's exactly what I was doing. I was calling them to patience, yeah. And I found that really profound, because I was like, I wasn't even thinking of that. When I did the video, I quoted another verse, and the fact that he said that, it's just like, wow, it just blows you away. And then not only that, he even came and said, he even recommended to do a video for.
He said, yeah, he said he said it would have made more sense.
Yeah.
That you go to, or that you do dawah to non-hijabi sisters.
So imagine this, yeah. And
about putting the hijab on.
Oh, okay.
So imagine, he was saying that it would have been better if you went to non-hijabis, yeah. If we went to any of these so-called little students,
the issue would be how do we discern if they're Muslims or not?
Yeah, exactly. No,
Imagine you know, there's a situation in Birmingham. You know, the brothers, they're very some of the brothers, they're very hardcore, yeah. And there was a sister, and she was in the bus. Yeah.
Do you know about this?
Do you know about this story?
I don't know about it.
She was a sister in the bus. It was Ramadan, and she was eating food. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the brother was like, "Why are you eating food? It's Ramadan." Obviously, first and foremost, sisters can sometimes have, not need to fast anyways. This guy, this is on the level he was on, yeah. And then she turned around. She goes, "I'm not even a Muslim."
Oh.
She goes.
I thought she was gonna say I'm on my period or something, bro. But this is what I'm saying. Actually, the difference.
I don't know who that brother is, but I feel like I would not go up to a sister, and even if she was,
of course not, bro. The only look. This is what I'm saying. The difference between an alim, a person of knowledge, and somebody baby student of knowledge, not even baby, you know, this goes for everyone. There's this trend now. Everyone puts books behind them, you know, and you have to dress it. No, wallahi, Aki.
No,
It's like a trend. Wallahi, it's a trend.
It's a problem.
Books behind them that you can't even read. Yeah. Your tajweed is probably mash up. You got a phobe and a beard. And all of a sudden, you just...
Which are good things.
No, Aki, it's something to look up to. But the thing is, brother, you need to also know your lane. This goes for everyone, whoever you are, even their sisters. You know, they got books behind them. That's the difference, Aki. When you go to a proper person of knowledge, he's telling me, imagine I go to these people and go, you know what, an alim told me to go and do what you deem not okay to non-hijabis. Oh, they'll say, he's a mubtadi, he's misguided. And these are little, like, this is what I'm saying, man. Yeah, it's just like, but I would say that's one video, but I have no regrets with that. 100% my
Did
heart.
you take it down or did you keep it up?
No, I didn't take it down.
It's got 2 million views, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course. Okay, I'm subscribed. You feel I'll take it down? I'm joking. But you know what? It just brought peace to my heart, knowing, and I want that to be viral. Like, I wish, like, you know, inshallah, it reaches millions. Why? I want sisters. Like, wallahi, one thing that I notice is we always have a go at sisters. Yeah, we always have a go at sisters. It's already hard. Why do we have this? Why can't we uplift people? Why can't I go to a brother and say, brother, may Allah bless you, or, you know, carry on? We always like, okay, what can I pick on? Okay, why wearing pink hijab? Why is your one hair showing? Brother, why don't you look at what they are doing rather than what they're not doing?
The tough thing is that I feel, respectfully, I feel like I would be uncomfortable if my like sister came home.
That's what Sheikh Mohammed said.
And was like, said to me that, I'm not talking about you,
Yeah.
but it just said to me that a brother told her today, who she doesn't know, like, may Allah, like, bless you for wearing a hijab. I'll feel comfortable that a brother like that said
No.
You're
right.
my wife.
Someone,
Sheikh Mohammed said, if I saw a man coming near my wife here with his phone in his hand, he said I'd hit him.
That's where, because I was that's where I...
Same with me. They asked me this question. They said to me, how would you feel if someone did that to your wife? Yeah. Okay. I said to them very simply, yeah, I'll be honest with you. If I do any kind of action knowing that I wouldn't like it for myself, I'm a hypocrite. How could you do an action knowing that if it was done to your wife or whatever, you wouldn't like it? There's a problem in your heart. Do you get it? If anyone approached my wife, I was thinking of actually saying it. I was thinking of approaching it, but then I thought to myself, this is where I thought to myself and I said, nah, that's a bit too much, yeah? And it would look wrong. It's unnecessary. All I did, if you see on that camera, is I said, sister, I've got 1 minute to read that. They read it and I walked away.
To be fair, I haven't watched the video probably, so I couldn't comment
on something you haven't watched.
No, because you're talking about like the idea of approaching it. You know what I'm saying?
So with that angle, person, if anyone approached my wife, my sister, my mother, my auntie, whatever, with this, they just show the phone. If my wife comes, you know, some brother came today and just put his phone, that said, can you read this? I read it and it said, for example, sister, may Allah bless you for wearing the hijab. I would say personally, wallahi, may Allah bless him. I would personally say, if the issue was like he came and he said, oh, sister, how you doing? You're right, yeah, okay. Yeah, may Allah bless you for wearing like that. I'll be uncomfortable. Like, why are you talking to my wife unnecessary? But to come and just show something or give a leaflet. Let's suppose he had a leaflet and he was given a leaflet, and on the leaflet it said, sister, may Allah bless you for wearing the hijab. I'm going to have a go at him for giving leaflets out for encouraging the sisters. It's how you look at it. Yes, we have ghira, yeah? Yes, we have protective jealousy, but people misconstrue that. Protective jealousy means that, you know, my wife in no way. So when she goes to a restaurant and a barman, it's not a barman.
Bar, yeah? See, now the true Ali is coming out.
Someone's serving him, yeah? Or she's there. Sometimes she speaks to her colleagues, be it at uni, be at work, or this, that. Islamically, women can work. Even if there's men, if I'm not mistaken, men in the environment, as long as it's done in a proper civil way. If you're working, do you get what I'm trying to say?
I'm not getting involved in fatwa things.
No. I'm not giving a fatwa. I'm sure I've asked this to some people. Know they said women can work, yeah, but as long as there's not free mixing.
No one's saying anything about it.
Yeah, exactly. So the thing is, they take this to the other extremes because there is narrations of Umar ibn Khattab where he appointed a lady to manage the markets. Now some say, oh, that's not authentic, whatever, yeah. But from what I asked Sheikh Mohammed, he said it is authentic. He did. So what are you going to say to Umar ibn Khattab? Oh, would you want that for your wife? Would you put your wife in the market? Do you get it? They cross lines, Aki. They make it seem like a female, like, and I'll tell you something, Aki, especially with the Salafis, yeah? Okay. I don't...
By the way, but they can't see you doing this with their hands if they're listening to it on podcast.
Oh, okay.
Because you're doing this.
Okay.
They can't see you doing
Okay,
that.
just
He's
Then
putting
you
it-
would have to say
Yes.
quote unquote.
quote unquote, yeah.
Yeah, if
There's
it's
the
from a
Salafis, yeah,
podcast.
because the thing is, I don't class myself as belonging into any group like Salafi or this, that, yeah. I claim to follow the Quran, the Sunnah. I can say I am a Salafi, but I do not, because I think Shaykh Ibn Uthaymeen said, he even said, don't ascribe yourself to anybody, yeah. You can call yourself a Salafi, but what was I making? I was trying to make a point. I totally forgot.
Shamla, I think he was saying something like,
What was he saying?
if he said that if you have a group
Oh, yeah, I
called the
remember
Salafis, don't group, but if you
Yes.
if it means like calling yourself Athari or something,
Yes.
something to that effect, yani.
Yeah, exactly. They make it seem, Aki, wallahi, the way it affects your brain, it's like, if I was in a lift and a sister was there, like the way they make it seem, it's like, oh my gosh, I might commit zina. Like, I need to get out of here. Aki, subhanAllah, can you not be a human being?
To be fair, Ali, I don't think this is specific to any to Salafis.
No, I'm not.
I think that this is conservative, like
Yeah,
even your bandis and
Yeah.
they
Sorry.
have the same very much.
Yeah,
like,
thank you. May Allah bless you. Yes, that's
Yeah,
very correct.
yeah.
I don't want to make it seem like. So I'm saying we should see.
and even
that's-
Shias, they're quite
Yeah,
conservative.
exactly. We should say that's my sister in the religion, yeah, and something really profound. And I'll share this with you, yeah. Once I went to give a talk in a masjid, yeah, with one sheikh, yeah, I won't mention his name, yeah. We went there and I was sitting there, so he was gonna talk. He would just said Ali Khan, you know, the youngster, just give a little reminder, whatever. I said, okay, sheikh. So we were sitting down in his office. A sister in niqab came in and said, she came for the talk, yeah. She said, are you guys going to be sitting like in the sister section, like in front of us? And the sheikh was like, yeah, we're going to sit in front of you. He's like, oh, like, but is that correct? Isn't that free mixing, yeah? Bro, the sheikh switched on another level. The sheikh knows her thing as well, yeah. He said, you go to uni, you sit with non-Muslim men, your teachers are non-Muslim, you go, all of this is calm, it's okay, but when you come to the house of Allah, where there's believing men and believing women, all of a sudden your piety kicks in. I call this a piety attack. You have a piety attack moment, yeah? Where you're like, no, you know, how could you sit in front of us? I fear Allah. If you feel safe next to a, let's say, not that I'm saying non-Muslims are bad, I'm just saying in general, yeah? If you feel safe and you're calm at uni and there's these people around, sometimes you have to talk to them. Let's say you're doing a task together, whatever.
There is a this is قياس على الفارق مع وجود الفارق. I'll be honest with you, yeah. I'll tell you why. قياس مع الفارق means you're doing a false analogy.
Okay.
Because with those things, the reason why they do that, and by the way, I have an opinion on that.
Yeah.
I might have an agreement with you on the fact that men and women should be in the same room or something, but the reason why is not a good analogy is because in the cases of like where non-Muslims operate, you have to they say, you know, الضرورات تبيح المحظورات, or الضرورات تبيح المحظورات is a qaida, is a principle that means that the situations of need make something halal, something haram halal. Yeah. So for example, if someone is on a train or on a bus, or they might be saying, okay, well, this is a haja. الحاجات تبيح المكروهات, or haja is like a strong need, or darura, or they might say it's for the maslah of the Muslims, yeah. But the difference with it in the masjid would be that the idara, the administration, they have full control.
Okay.
So you don't have that haja now, they don't have that darura now. Do you get it?
No, but you're right, 100%. If you're coming from the angle, you're right.
So where there could be a case against it is that, okay, these guys have full authority of
one's necessity, one's not.
One's you're forced to do it.
Yeah.
Right? One's you're forced to do it.
Yeah.
And the other one is you have an option.
Yeah,
Like
but
the administration has an option
yes.
to arrange it in a certain
Yeah, no, but what he's trying to come at, no, he's not coming from the angle. He's trying to come at is if you're in a non-Muslim environment, you are not as strict on yourself as you are in the masjid. So for example, when you're in, let's say...
but that's how it should be though. In the masjid, it should be more strict.
No, one second. Let me get this right.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say, it's going to turn into a debate, yeah? You can put this online. So, if I, for example, let's say I go to university, yeah? At university, I'm more, like there's female colleagues, my teachers are females, whatever.
Because you know, there's a hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said that the best of sufuf for the men are the ones at the front.
The front, yes. And
the best ones for the women are the ones in the back.
Yes.
Which, by the way, is one of the good evidences that women can't lead the prayer.
Yes.
Because a woman can't lead the prayer for a man. There's pretty much consensus on this, except for Tabari. He had the dissenting view on that point. But So clear, that's naturally not the same as if you're going to go on a bus or a train.
No, of course not. But what I'm trying to say is, imagine when I go
So
uni.
the reason why, though, sorry to cut you off, is the reason why is because when you're in worship, as you would know, like the hikmah, you could say, not the illah. And there's a difference between the illah and the hikmah. The illah of a hukum is the causative reasoning. Yeah.
What do you mean by illah hukum? Some people might not
So the illah means the reason why something is haram.
Okay. Yeah.
So for example, alcohol is haram because it creates intoxication. For example, that's the illah of it.
Yeah.
The hikmah of why is it haram might be a completely different reason.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that the hikmah, not the illah, but the hikmah, the wisdom of the reason why men might be at the front and women at the back is because of this whole distraction between the sexes. And ikhtilat, and it's trying to stop the distraction when you're worshipping Allah. So the masjid has its own sanctity. That's why you're not meant to actually, people don't know about this, is the adab of the masjid. You're not meant to talk in the masjid about things that are not related to ibadah.
Okay.
For example, talk about business. No, you shouldn't.
Okay.
You talk about business and these things. It's not the place in the masjid to talk about that. And nowadays we see people in Friday prayers like going on their phone, and this breaks the the Friday in many and you're not going to get the reward for the Friday prayer if you do that. If you go and check your Instagram and your Twitter when you're on, the guy is doing the khutbah and you're doing this. There's many ahadith about this. So the point is, I think that the masjid does have its sanctity, like it's got its own rules.
No, of course. But what he's trying to refer to is, once I'll give this example if it makes sense. If I go to university and at university there's female colleagues and my teacher is a female, if I act more relaxed, where the fear of Allah or the legislation of Allah is more relaxed, I have this relaxed attitude towards it. But when I come to the masjid, or don't forget masjid, let's suppose a hall, it's a community hall, If I start getting a piety attack, I'm like, no, sister, the issue is with my attitude towards it.
I think the attitude can be justified, though.
Do you get it?
No, but
I believe I'm totally.
Let me tell you why, right? As Imam Shafi'i said, he said, إذا ضاق الأمر اتسعت الشريعة وإذا اتسعت الشريعة ضاق الأمر. He said that if the situation becomes more constrained, the Sharia becomes more wide.
More loose.
Or when the Sharia becomes more constrained, and the opposite, basically. So what does this mean? In a situation where, for example, say you have to go on BBC, and there's a woman there that's going to ask you questions, for example, and you know there's going to be some music before and after, but you know the maslahah of going on BBC is very big because you can promote Islam or whatever. In that situation, you know you can work within only a certain framework. Same thing when you go on a train. You might actually be on a train, subhanallah, or not even say a train, let's say a hajj. You're going to be in hajj, you're going to get in contact with another woman. That's not your wife or your sister or your mum or whatever. Because the situation is so intense, you can't now complain about this. You can't say, well, you know, this is, why is this place organized like that? No one will accept your complaint and say, well, why are you complaining? This situation is like that,
You should talk to the mic, bro, because when you're talking to Ali.
I apologize. So in usul, there's this principle is when things get constrained, the Sharia becomes more relaxed. And when things become more relaxed, the Sharia becomes more constrained.
No, I understand.
So in the masjid, because where Muslims have control of things now, if things are not certain guidelines are not being held.
But let me tell you, we gave a talk where the sisters were sitting in front of us. There's no haram about it. Can you tell me that it was haram?
What in front?
For example, the sisters are in front. They will sit like this, like that. You're on the side. Me and Sheikh was here. We were just talking. Nobody can come and say that's haram. The issue is, what we're saying is, why make a fuss about a matter? If it was haram, if I come and said, oh sister, I want you to sit next to me. Oh, why are you making a big fuss? You sit with people like next. That's false analogy. 100%.
When you
get it?
I get what you're saying. I think
it's been like.
I get what you're saying. Your sentiment is correct. For example, in the masjid of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where the women were in the back and the men were in the front, and there was no separation. And there could have been a separation. So if someone comes and says, okay, we don't have to have a like a physical wall, I don't think that's a extreme position to have. And in fact, there's probably going to be some kind of, we could take that position and say, well, you know, a woman needs to see the imam as well. And there's certain things that woman, if there's sajdah, sahwa or some things like that, she can actually benefit from it. But this, we'll say, is a matter of ijtihad. we'll say is a matter for the scholars. So if a scholar comes and says, you know what, is more conservative scholar, more uses sadd al-dhara'i, which is like trying to stop the haram from taking place, and says, you know, in fact, I think that min babi sadd al-dhara'i, or because we don't ikhtilat, the mixing of the genders, it's better for example, for it to be this way or that way. I wouldn't say that that's a problematic issue.
No, of course, same with it. But the fact that we was talking there, and they're just in front of us. Let's say I'm going to lower my gaze. Okay, I'm just giving a talk. Yeah, the fact that she brought that up was, I believe, I was with Sheikh 100%. So unnecessary. I'm being honest, because it was just like, oh, I'm going like. What was the need? Like, if it was like, you know what, we would feel uncomfortable. Brother Ali,
I think you're hitting.
Do you get it?
Yeah, I get
That's what I'm talking about.
You're saying something which is more not profound, but it's another issue now.
Yeah.
Which is, how do you deal with a situation which you don't like? Which is, okay, you might have a different opinion to X. Yeah. This might be a liberal opinion to you. Yeah. How do you deal with someone who doesn't have the same opinion as you? Yeah, for example, this organization, they've probably taken this.
But I don't think it came from a way of opinion. It wasn't even.
I think so. It's fine. I'll try my best not to. I think that you guys could talk about this for hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
but these
are the disagreements we have.
Yeah. I think there had to be a point at which I had to buy it. I was thinking, should I do it now? Should I do it now? No. Let's move the conversation over slightly. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
Let's talk a bit about.
No, we want to continue. No, I'm joking.
I'm losing control of the podcast. Guys, we just want to take a quick break in the middle of this podcast to thank our sponsors who are helping make Freshly Grounded happen, and those sponsors are Wahid Invest. Guys, don't sacrifice your beliefs to start investing Don't sacrifice your beliefs to start investing with Wahid. Wahid has helped clients all over the states put their money to work in halal portfolios. Your savings don't need to sit in a bank account doing nothing, and you can sign up in minutes and get your account approved instantly and start with as little as £100. It's halal investing the way it should be. And guys, if you want to go ahead and deposit as little as £100 and invest in something, then go over to freshlygrounded.com/Wahid. That's freshlygrounded.com/WAHED when you sign up. And guys, if you do fall off of that page, if you want to kind of read up more about how it is halal investment, who says it's halal, and all of that information, please do. I encourage you guys to do so. But when you do go back up to sign up, go back to the URL freshlygrounded.com/Wahid rather than just clicking on home or clicking on sign up. And the reason being is so that it can all be trackable and so that they can see all of you guys who are coming over from Freshly Grounded. That will help us and that will help us keep Freshly Grounded running. So please do check that out. That's freshlygrounded.com/Wahid. Wahid Invest, revolutionizing halal investments. Ooh. Okay, let's get back to the podcast. No. Let's switch the conversation over to halal dining, because halal dining, I think, was
salam dining now.
Yeah, but so
don't ever say that word again.
So halal dining was something that you, Ali, did.
Started with a brother. Yeah.
Started with a few years ago.
Okay, then.
And I
just want to say something that it's we had a bit of a fallout. A bit of with the brother, may Allah bless him, but he specifically said not to mention his name. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
So I just want to make, just from his angle, he said to me, I have an agreement with him that I cannot mention his name.
No problem.
Yeah. So that's why I don't want to.
I'll know that. Then. No problem. That's good that you told me. So I'll just I'll blurt out.
Because then
Ask about the debate. The David Wood thing.
Okay.
No. Let's just get this out of the way because it's going to start as well. Yeah. Okay.
What, David Wood?
This is not always centered about you, Hijab. Stop this.
Okay.
Build up, you know.
Yeah.
So when you were doing halal dining, I think that was one of the best things that you did. I think it was really, really.
So my channel is nothing to you.
Good. No. I think it was really good, and I think that you hit a market there where it was genuinely interesting. Like, it started getting to the point where people, when they wanted to go out to a restaurant, they would type in that restaurant's name and then type in halal dining after on YouTube and see what you reviewed about it, see if it has prayer rooms, see if everything's halal or if they sell alcohol. And then obviously you brought that to a stop, and obviously you're gonna bring that back in some capacity.
Yeah, inshallah. Yeah,
inshallah. What about the argument that something like that, which was that was so needed and that was really powerful, and it also had like a wider audience, what about the argument that something like that is where your energy could be more centered towards, because it's more like, for example, you were talking about earlier about like people staying in their lane, etc.
Yeah.
And what if that was something where through that you could maybe like drop little reminders in that, etc. rather than having such an approach that's very direct. And I could be completely wrong here, but I'm saying that because your approach right now is very direct, it is very like debating people, etc. And I suppose there is an argument that is also needed.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that's not needed, but I suppose my point is what makes you the person to have to be at the forefront. Perhaps that could be a better approach because it was received so well, or do you think that's a weak argument, what I'm saying?
No, that's a very strong argument, because the thing is, I actually do that. I incorporate that within my, so when you see on my YouTube, I have phases. I go through a phase of where I do social experiments. I'll go through a phase where I'll be like, can men and women just be friends? Can I go through that. Then I have phases where, for example, I do with Islamophobia. Then I have phases where I do face to cam videos. Then I have phases where it's debate videos. Do you get it? I have these phases. What I do is I try to cater for different markets. Yeah, so people that watch that, they can come and jump on board and watch some other stuff. People that like the face to cam videos, come and jump on board. So I cater for everyone. With halal dining, it was specifically made for everyone. It was just like casual, relaxed. We're eating. Everyone loves to eat. Once we ordered our food, we do a little reminder. Yeah, what we're going to talk about, for example, we're going to talk about this, and then we do like a review. And like you said before, it was actually going there on behalf of the Muslim Ummah and telling them, look, this is the restaurant we went to. We found that they play music. Someone might watch this and say, look, okay, I don't like music. I'm not going to go there. So it's like we're reviewing the place for the Muslims. Do you get what I'm trying to say? We'll say, for example, there's places where we would go, the food is banging, but they don't check the halal rating thing, yeah? So they'll fail on, they serve alcohol, they don't have a prayer room, they have no segregation. The only thing is the menu is half halal, yeah? So then this place where you go to is, the halalness is on point, prayer room, everything, but the food. And there's some place you go to, the halal's amazing and the food's amazing. So the thing is, definitely we're going down that route and we're doing that again, inshallah. Since we started Salam, we've been working on it. Obviously, it's been hard. We've had our ups and downs, but I'm going straight back into that, you know. And definitely, that's something that I would love for you to be involved as well. Get on board, because I don't want it to be just dedicated to it's Salam dining. Just Ali goes. No, Faisal goes. Faisal, get your camera, go review somewhere, put it on the channel, brother. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So
if the money is right, why not? No,
definitely. Yeah, inshallah. Yeah, the money will be right for me. Yeah,
but
you do the work,
bro.
But definitely, we're just thinking of the name now, because the issue is because we had a little fallout with the brother. May Allah bless him, inshallah. And so the name, I started of the halal dining show. I'm thinking of doing Salam dining, but I'm not sure. I might go back to, because the thing is, I don't want to go to the nitty-gritties, but I'm looking for, it's going to start.
You definitely want to bring that back.
No, I am. We've already been recording some stuff. It's just I have a problem with the animation After Effects with the stars, which I'm trying to do, but it's definitely coming back, inshallah.
So the thing that's holding back right now is the start.
Yes, it is. If someone can help me, there's After Effects. I don't know how to render.
You have so many followers. I'm sure somebody is like good with After Effects and stuff.
Yeah, actually, that's a good idea.
Put that stuff out in it.
Yeah. But it's coming, inshallah.
Okay, so also you guys are soon flying out to the States, right? And you're debating somebody. I know nothing about this. I don't know who the man is and everything. So tell me about this as if you're telling someone who has no idea, because
I haven't done my Esther yet as well, by the way. I need to do my Esther.
Yeah, I've done it yesterday.
What is Esther, by the way, for those who don't know?
The Esther is what you got. It's like it's an online application to apply for a visa in the United States.
Sounds very relevant to the episode. So why are you guys going? What's happening out there?
As we said before, part of Salam as a group, part of our remit, if you like, is we're trying to challenge the world's biggest Islamophobes, you know, intellectually. And that's how we're trying to challenge them. And this individual, that his name is David Wood, who I'm going to debate, he represents for me one of the major Islamophobes of the Western world from a social media perspective. He's actually in the top 50, maybe top 30, top 20. And he's a contributor to one of the major websites that's anti-Islam and these things. And the tragedy of it all is those individuals who are engaged in this kind of polemic are themselves very ignorant when it comes to Islam. Incredibly ignorant. I mean, they have not even, in terms of like student of knowledge type things that we're associated with, like learning Arabic, learning the Quran, learning the basics of usul, mustalah al-hadith, these basic things that you have to learn kind of to have a basic understanding of Islam. They haven't touched it. They haven't come across it. They haven't touched it. and yet they feel as if this is something we should do. We have to come in and attack Islam and talk about the quote-unquote contradictions of the Quran, quote-unquote this and quote-unquote life of Prophet Muhammad and these things. So I found it, it's incumbent upon someone in the Ummah to deal with these individuals. And we're dealing with them. So the way we're dealing with them is as follows. This individual, as well as many other kind of Islamophobes, one of their main tactics is something called the machine gun tactic. Okay. So say, for example, you're talking to them about one issue. You're talking to, and this is something all Muslims should be aware of, in fact. If you're talking to one of those Islamophobes about, let's say, for example, the issue of Tawheed, which is actually the Tawheed meaning the oneness monotheism, right? This is what the debate is going to be about, Trinity versus Tawheed. It's on the 7th of November. So say we're talking to them about Tawheed, for example, yeah? They'll come and they'll start talking about miscellaneous issues. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ's marriage to Aisha, to maybe Safiya. Maybe he'll start talking about the preservation of the Quran, or lack thereof, as he would say, yeah, or they would say. They would say maybe bring in anything. Because why? Because they know weak Muslims. When I say that, I use the term to denote these individuals that don't have the tools to understand Islam, and for some reason have stumbled across their material. Weak Muslims would fall prey to this kind of attack. They would, how can we answer this question? How this contradiction of the Quran? This is so. What I think we have a duty of care to deliver to the people is, number one, establish that these individuals are baseless in their belief system themselves. What they believe, their alternative, is an unintelligible alternative. Yeah, it's an irrational one. That's number one. Number two, to show that those individuals themselves are entirely discredited, right, as it relates to what they're trying to do, which is really a hermeneutical thing, where they're going into the Quran and trying to understand the verses. They are completely discredited from that perspective. And with that, we want to rectify their misunderstandings and show to the Muslim people that actually the reason why this person has been allowed to speak like this is because no one has given them the alternative narrative. So our job is to give them the alternative narrative. And so I think that me debating that person, inshallah, will be great for the ummah.
Are both of you guys debating him or just you?
No, it's just me. I'm debating him. And
how is that arranged?
It's going to be a debate. The way he actually, we were in email communication with one another, and he suggested the structure. So it's going to be 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 12 minutes, 12 minutes, 8 minutes, 8 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, and then crossfire and questions and answers.
And where is it? And where
New
and
York,
when? You're going to put details on your socials?
Yeah, I've done that already.
Okay.
So if someone wants to go on my Instagram and check it, I think it's Queen's College in Queens, New York. It'll be on the 7th of November. He's completely confirmed. So I'm completely ready for him. And I know exactly what he's going to do. He's going to do exactly that machine gun tactic. And as a result, at Salam, we have done some pre-filming we've literally covered all of the so-called misconceptions of Islam. And we've got a YouTube channel, Salam. It's called Salam YouTube channel. What's the exact thing?
Salam, YouTube.
Yeah.
Salam Initiative. But they can search, just write Salam.
Salam,
so
yeah.
Because we're going from the angle is what we're saying is mainly this person, he always attacks the Prophet, peace be upon his character. Yeah. So it's always that your Prophet did this, your Prophet that. We're just saying, and with his own words, he said it in the very same video that we responded to, where he said that just because something looks beautiful doesn't mean it's the truth. Yeah. So him attacking,
and beauty is an eye of the beholder.
Exactly. So what we're doing is we said no, we want to discuss the Trinity and Tawheed. This is the root of Christianity and Islam. The branches mean nothing. You can talk about the branches of, I didn't like the Prophet, peace be upon him, using the maswak. Irrelevant. That's got nothing to do with the truth. If Tawheed is the truth, what the Prophet did, how he ate, what he did is irrelevant. People don't come to Islam or leave it because, some do because of they're not educated.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they look at the Trinity, because people who come to Islam, they say Tawheed makes sense. One God, not one in three, three in one. One is the first one is not the third is not the first, no, the second is like people come because of this. So this is the reason why we did an amazing podcast style kind of thing where we debunked all of these claims.
Yeah.
All kinds of
Is that
angles.
out?
That's gonna be out very soon.
Okay.
What it's gonna include, inshallah, is literally a response to all of the major objections of Islam. All of the major objections of Islam, from theological to claims of terrorism and jihadism, to the Prophet ﷺ's marriages, to so-called contradictions in the Quran, to so-called
Wow, that sounds
preservation
that sounds
errors.
powerful, man.
Everything will be there, and we'll try and make it into a database.
Wow.
So that when he comes into the debate, and he's gonna struggle, because I'm not saying this out of arrogance. Wallahi, I'm just a carrier of information. Yeah, he is definitely going to struggle in this debate. He's going to find it completely difficult to defend this Trinity, not because he's incapable or unintelligent. It's because for 2,000 years people have been struggling to explain it and have had different conclusions on what the Trinity is.
I can't remember, some historian, he said, how long has the Mohammedans laughed at us because of this Trinity? This is what he said. He was saying, like, this is how stupid we are. And he's a Unitarian, yeah? He goes, how long has he calls them Mohammedans, Muslims, yeah? He goes, how long have they been mocking and laughing at us?
Yes.
Like, he's saying, like, you idiots, why you keep believing this?
Exactly.
And
yeah.
the fact that this guy has never ever debated, I don't think he's debated this.
Yes,
Very
he
rarely.
hasn't debated. I checked. He
Why?
hasn't debated.
It shows you, how could you not ever talk about your fundamental, this is what your religion is about. And instead of talking about that, all you're talking about is another religion of what their prophet did. It's pathetic. It's like me never talking about Tawheed ever. And I'm talking about Jesus in the Bible where he went to the figs.
It's a good point. So you see what I'm saying. So what's going to happen is that we're going to start a debate. The first thing we're going to, maybe he's watching this, yeah, to give him a heads up as well. The moment this is what's going to happen. I'll tell you the prediction of the debate, right? Yeah. He's going to come into the debate. Maybe he's going to say a few things about the Trinity, and then he's going to get very desperate very quickly, because there's not going to be much he can say to the questions I'm going to ask him. And so he's going to start diverting the topic to preservation, to this, to that, to, you guys should believe in the Trinity as well, or whatever it may be. And all of those misconceptions are going to have already been dealt with. They've been recorded, most of them. They're going to be on the Salam YouTube channel. So if someone has an issue with the questions that he's asking, they can go and watch the full-length video of that. So
what's the audience going to be like there, generally?
I don't know. I've heard it's going to be a lot of people there. It's in New York, so I don't know how it is. It's the first time I've actually ever been to New York. So we'll see. I think he lives there. I think that's his place. He lives in New York. So we're going to his backyard.
Who lives in New York?
David Wood. I think that's where he lives.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to his backyard, and
New York. You know that brother's from New York. He came here. We can see him.
Yeah. He should hopefully be down.
Can someone tell me what can I eat in New York? Can you recommend it, please? Like, they can't. Can they?
Yeah, they can message you.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Can they?
Yeah, you could do Salam dining in New York.
Oh yeah, bro. That's what we're gonna do, bro. That's exactly what we're gonna do.
And the people in New York, make sure if you're listening to this and you're from New York or any part near New York, that
California,
you come the 7th of November.
I think you get like this thing in New York with like $1.
The details are on my socials, inshallah.
Listen. I want to do a challenge to Joe Rogan. Yeah? If he's listening to this, yeah.
He's not in New York though, is he?
I don't care where he is. I'll come to him. MMA match. Yeah.
No. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
I didn't know about that. Okay, I'm an intellectual one.
An intellectual MMA match.
We can have like let's not have a boxing match or two. No.
His kicks are very strong as well.
Really?
Yeah. Joe Rogan. Have you seen his kicks?
Yeah, I saw his kicks. I think he taught John Jones how to kick, actually.
Is it?
Perhaps.
GSP. I saw a video of him.
I heard Khabib is calling him out or something.
Joe Rogan?
Yeah. He's there was a video I saw where
Joe Rogan's in his 50s now. He would not have a chance against Khabib Nurmagomedov. He wouldn't have a chance.
Just send me location.
Where do you guys?
I'm here to smash.
Where do you guys see yourself in? Our producer can't stop laughing. We haven't even spoken to Tuhin yet. We'll jump with Tuhin after in the intro. You're taking your shoes off, Ali. Nice.
Yeah, I always do that. You should see one thing about me.
Nice and comfy. Where do you guys see yourself in, let's say, 5-10 years time? Do you guys still see yourself debating in the park, or what's the vision?
Well, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep us firm and guide us. To be honest, we don't know where anyone's going to be. Well, sometimes one of the things that really scare me is like looking at some people, like be it people like how they get misguided, and it feels like the fear is in my heart. Like it's just like wallahi, it's something where it just on a daily basis, like I don't know where I'm going to be. I don't know what's going to happen to you. Wallahi, it's scared. Like, because you look at these people and like shaitan puts doubts in your mind, innit? Like, scares you. Like, you might, have doubt of the religion. And then these kind of things, like, alhamdulillah, like we're firm with our, we love our religion. If anything, wallahi, I say it very clearly. May Allah protect all of us. If anyone, be it hijab, be it me, if we went down that route, wallahi, Islam is perfect. Islam is perfect. I'll say this clearly. The problem is within ourselves. Like, may Allah protect us. But that's one thing that I'm really scared, that I just hope, alhamdulillah, inshallah, I'm always a Muslim, and I die as a Muslim, and I stay firm in the religion, and I educate myself, and I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect me from ever falling into that. That's one thing, wallahi, in 10 years time, inshallah, حافظ Quran, inshallah, memorize Quran, increase my memorization, inshallah. I would want to be more on the intellectual side. I would want to, talk, because even though I like to make it simplified for the people, that's one thing that we do at Salam, is we get the information of our teachers and make it palatable size for the people to absorb, to eat. Because otherwise, sometimes, that's when me and Hijab, we benefit from each other, because I learn intellectual things from him. And with him, one thing that he, like, not lacks, but he needs to think like at universities where he uses big words and it flies over people's head. Do you get it? So sometimes I work in a way.
I remember the last episode of the podcast we did. I think at the end of it, Sam said to me at one point, he was like, "Bro, so much of that, I had no idea." I was saying when we did the episode of
that's one thing we're working on, where I need more of that, and he needs like more of like just breaking it down, just like, okay, simplify it. So that's one thing that we do. But inshallah, like more intellectual, maybe get into actual debates on platforms, maybe. Yeah, let's see. I don't know, maybe, man.
But I think the good thing about that difference is that you can hit different markets.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like perhaps the people who want to like take from you, Ali, in kind of bite-sized format, might want to. Different people might want to take, for example.
100%. We went to a talk in Birmingham, I think 2 years ago. Me and Hijab was doing a university tour, and I was asked like not in a rude way. But they said the audience is not for you. And I didn't take offense, like, how dare you, me, the great, or the Honorable Ali Dawah, 300,000. No, Aki, subhanAllah. Because the audience what I was going to give was a go rap. Yeah? It wasn't for them. So alhamdulillah, Hijab was perfect because the audience was intellectual. Do you get it? What they're going to do, what is it that I can offer? Alhamdulillah, he did an amazing job. And, he was catering for that. Do you get it? Sometimes we go to universities where he says things that fly over their head, and I'll say, brother and sister, what Hijab meant from this was, da-da-da-da-da. Do you get it? Just to make them understand it. So it goes really well. Alhamdulillah, we go hand to hand really well.
How long have you guys been working together now?
The funny thing is with this guy, I didn't. You always, when you meet someone, like, you don't ever remember how you met them. Like,
I remember the first time I ever met.
Did you? I never remember.
I'm gonna tell you.
I don't ever remember, like, most of the time, how I met somebody. I just don't know. With him, I met him at the park. Yeah, and then he was keep coming saying, share this video. I was like, calm down, what is wrong with you? Not joking. So I made him there, but I remembered him where it clicked for me. It was like, oh, this is that guy. We went to a Palestine event, like for Palestine, they're raising funds. I can't remember what charity it was. And I can remember this one big, tall guy who was shouting, like, proper aggressive. And that's what I remember.
That doesn't sound like Hijab.
No. He was giving, like, he was in fundraising,
Yeah.
I think he was going around and like, you don't donate, because he has his moments where he, like, Hijab has his moments.
I saw your Hajj videos.
He goes into, like, you have these superheroes, they put on their suit, So Hijab would have these moments where in the park you will see him going, hold on a second, let me say that again. What did you say? Let me repeat it. So I know Hijab's in a moment. Then he'd have his moments where whatever you've told him, he's at this moment where he's saying, nope, I think this is right. This is what I'm going to do. And that's where we get worried. But at that moment, he was very like thing. And that's where I remember. And I can remember saving his name as Omar ibn Khattab, because he was so tall and big, And I thought that's the only way I remember this guy. So that's where we met. That's the first time I ever saw him. But then I met him in the park.
The first time I ever met you, Mohammed, I don't think you'll remember, but I very rarely go to the park. I personally, I dislike it a lot, but I think that you'd be able to. I think you guys would both agree with me that for some people it's good, for some people it's not so much, right? And so I just dislike the atmosphere. I don't like being there that much. But I think I was there one day. I actually was with Ali, I think, and I remember you were debating somebody, and then after you kind of finished, you just like kind of turned around, and I was like, "Who is this towering figure?" and you literally just said salam to me, and I said, "Right, that was it." But I just for some reason remember it. I think I remember it because of how tall you were, but I don't think you would remember.
Height is just a common thread there.
You wouldn't remember that, would you?
No.
So I'm just not that memorable.
No. In the park, it's like a haze for me. Faces are, I don't remember individual faces, because I literally say salam to maybe about 100, 200 people every time I go there. Maybe 100 people. It's not.
I think one thing that people miss from your videos when you're debating people and stuff is your like how much you like laugh and smile, because you don't do so much probably in your videos, but generally like off camera you laugh like a lot.
Yeah, bro.
In it,
loud as well.
Much that's good.
Proper
You laugh
loud.
a lot, you smile a lot. I think that's
It's good and bad, man. It has
well.
its
I think
negatives.
the bad thing of it is that I suppose people don't see it enough.
Do you know the worst thing about it is when you do it in the wrong times? And my dad gave me advice one time. My dad gave me advice, you know. He said to me, look, I'm going to give you one piece of advice that you're going to remember for the rest of your life. I said, all right. He said, you got to know when to laugh. Yeah, because he was saying it in the context of me laughing in inappropriate places. And it's true, because sometimes, you know, I'm in a very, very, like, let's say, formal setting. I got in trouble one time, in fact, in Speaker's Corner itself. I was talking to this Zionist guy. And I was talking to him about, like, you know, every time he was bringing up, like, you know, the victim card and all these things. And we were talking about Palestine. And I just made a joke that was unrelated to everything. I started laughing at my own joke. And people were laughing as well, right? It wasn't just me. Like, I got a big backlash from that particular community, the Zionist community, even if you want to call them a community. But, you know, I mean, it was a little bit ridiculous. I think they were taken out. But that's a good example of when you laugh at something and it's not intentional, it's involuntary, but it can land you in problems. So
sometimes I do that. Sometimes I end up laughing at something that I'm thinking about that's completely relevant to the conversation. And it's so good. Mohammed Hijab and Ali Dawah, Jazakallah khair for jumping onto the podcast. I really do appreciate it, man. I definitely wanted you guys on, and I wanted to ask you guys questions, kind of to, if for lack of a better term, play devil's advocate in a way, and find out kind of, because I think you guys have a very like Marmite like reaction in that some people really, really support what you guys do, and some of your audience really, really think that it's not. That you guys could be going down other avenues that would be more beneficial, and if
they have that second opinion, please give us your suggestions. So, I mean, that's one thing that we would love to hear from you on. Like, if you feel like there's something we should be doing, or there's something that we could be doing better, man,
you tell us. We don't need to be marmalade. Treat us like hummus. Yeah. Sometimes you can add lemon into hummus. It tastes nice. You can add different things. You know, help us. Help us. We're not. Don't either love us or hate us. You know, the hummus is nice. Everybody loves hummus. Just add a bit of lemon. You know, to suit you. You know, nah.
I think that personally, like the type of videos that like I enjoy watching of the videos that I've watched with you guys has been stuff like, for example, the halal dining, or
he really hates my channel, doesn't
stuff like that. No, I don't. But I think that generally it's not. I don't just not watch you guys. I don't like watching debates in general and stuff.
Yeah, that's what you're like. Do you know? We've noticed from the analytics that it's a very male-centered thing. A lot of women don't like watching that either. Women don't like watching debates.
So I have similar attributes to women.
no, honestly, I've noticed that it's pretty thing.
No, it's not for everyone. It's not for everyone. I'll be honest with you. Some people get a headache. Yeah, there's some stuff. You know, I personally, you know, your podcast, I don't watch it. No.
I know you don't, because you were like, you didn't even know that it's on iTunes or it's.
Nah, you know what it is like. But since just having this, like listening to this, yeah, like I would love to listen to myself again. No. Podcast is nice because I get the flow now, like how it is. Because I was thinking, can I listen to something
very
for an hour and a
relaxed?
half?
Yeah.
How long has it been? It seems like 20 minutes, man.
No, it's been about just under an hour and a half.
Wow, that's it. That's what I'm saying. It's quite interesting. Like I look, he was laughing behind the camera. He couldn't control himself. That's how much he enjoyed it. You know,
it's nice, man. It's a good.
It's nice.
I want to actually start.
I'm going to subscribe.
I want to start my own
please.
podcast, man. Can you give me some advice or any other person that's aspiring to do what you're doing? I like this setup. What can we do to be like you?
I think that if you see the comments of Fresh Ground, you'll realise that I'm not probably the best person to give advice, because there's clearly a lot of holes in my approach.
I think you got a really good approach. Honestly,
I think my approach perhaps has changed. If you listen to this episode and you were to listen to our episode that we filmed with you before, the episode we filmed with you before, I think I was doing a lot more kind of butting in and that kind of stuff. And based on a lot of like productive criticism, what's the correct word? Not productive criticism. Constructive criticism. Based on a lot of constructive criticism from viewers, I've heard that, you know, a lot of the times kind of just, I think consciously I'm thinking to myself, oh, the guest is talking too long and viewers might get bored, but viewers are listening because they want to hear the guest, so not to butt in as much.
I'll be very bad at that, I think.
What, not butting in? No, I think I'm bad at it. So
You're
but
good at it. I thought I thought that was one of your strong points.
I appreciate that.
Honestly.
I think I'm actively trying. But generally, bro, 100%. I've been telling people for so long to jump on podcasts, man, because some people might listen to Freshly Grounded and love the idea of podcasts, but just not really being Freshly Grounded, but they don't have any other alternatives. So they're like crying while they listen to Freshly Grounded in their car because it's the only option. But honestly, man, like there's definitely like it's a proper it's a proper avenue now of really putting out content and putting out content for people who perhaps don't have the time to sit there and watch YouTube videos, and they just want to kind of listen to content on their journey. So yeah, for sure, man. And you can do it on such a small budget. You could essentially do a podcast off your iPhone. It would be not great, but you could. And if you have the audience for it, they would listen. One of the biggest podcasts in the world, the Tim Ferriss Show, is recorded like they've got like handheld mics and that plugged into like a H6. So
Wow.
yeah, man. I thought what you were doing was a podcast, like the
booth.
The booth. You need to just basically carry on doing the booth, but turn it into a podcast.
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen.
That's literally all you need to do. All you need to do literally is take the audio out of that and upload it to the podcast.
I'm gonna make
Which
it
is
into
free.
the booth. I need to change it. I like these kind of mics like this. I like this setup. It's more comfortable for the guest and I think for you as well. I think. And
Maybe not this episode. I'm sitting on an IKEA chair.
that's
But
fine.
generally, no, I'm joking. I'm not so bad. I hope that the viewers can see Ali's feet in this episode, because that would be a real shame if they're missing out on the
And if
fact
there's
that Ali.
anybody that wants to bid for my socks, we can do that.
You think you're on that level now, brother? When people are gonna
Humble
want your
yourself, brother.
socks
Humble
and
yourself.
things,
Nah, look, I bless the blessed socks.
Jazakallah khair, guys, for jumping on the podcast. I really
Bless you.
appreciate it. This was episode 70 something of Freshly Grounded. I can't really keep track.
Shame on
And it was nice to finally have you guys on together. It's like it's been very highly requested. So yeah, really do appreciate it.
Jazakumullah khair.
Assalamu alaikum.
Don't forget to check Salam, follow us.
Yeah, check out Salam.
And also any kind of, if you have any doubts or whatever it may be, if you go to our channel, we're going to be uploading all the doubts, everything like that. So everything, like all angles.
Covering up misconceptions, contradictions, everything you got.
What was that? 200 plus misconceptions.
200
wow.
plus. Yeah.
Wow. What do you guys want to mention your like socials or anything? Not that I think you guys definitely have more viewership than Fresh Guarded, but if you guys want to mention your socials and everything, you can.
Yeah, I think that, do you know what? There's a difference between having more viewership and having people that listen to the end.
Yes, it's true. Exactly.
Freshly Grounded. The thing about it, people will listen to it and they like it.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Look after yourselves, guys, and inshallah we'll have another catch up sometime in the future. Maybe perhaps post debate in America.
I'll give my victory speech.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for listening. This was Freshly Grounded. We out.